Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another Market Open stream. Today, of course, let's talk about what's going to happen with Bitcoin. There are some huge events and decisions to be made this week. So, prepare for that. So, let's talk about it, and let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. Let's do this. Welcome. Let's see. The U.S. market is about to open. The bell is about to ring right now. It's kind of mixed due to this one report. Oh, there's the market bell. The best bell in the industry right here. You can only hear this here. So we'll see how it goes. But we got this kind of sour report from ADP. Job growth slowed sharply this month to 177,000 jobs, which is still growth, which is good, but it came in below the 200,000 estimate and way below July, which U.S. added 371,000 jobs. But here's the thing about ADP jobs report. They revise all the time and months afterwards. I don't know how they could be so off sometimes. We have seen over the course of last year, sometimes their revisions go up by hundreds of thousands. Like a jobs report would be at 200,000, and then a few months later, they're like, oh, no. We meant to say 500,000. So I don't even get how that works. I don't get how they could be so wrong with some of the reports sometime way after the fact. They don't even revise it like a month later. Sometimes they revise it 3 or 5 months later. Right, so I don't know. I don't know if I can trust this fully, but it makes sense that the terrific growth that the U.S. have seen with jobs cannot be, growing, so to speak, right? I mean, we expect people to get back to work, but it can't be growing unlimitedly. There is going to be some cap, and we're going to see some slowness eventually, right? Maybe it started. But yeah, so that's the latest. So I don't know how Wall Street's going to digest it. Overall, it's still growth is growth. Came in a little bit below expectations, but overall, it's still a positive. It's a win, right? And then later this week, we will get even more stuff that's coming out. We got, today is Wednesday, so we're supposed to get some GDP results today. Tomorrow, we're going to get the opposite of jobs report. We're going to get a jobless report, and then also other unemployment and all these other things. So there will be more reports coming out later this week that could definitely affect the markets out there. Okay, but as for Bitcoin, we know, most of you guys know, and I talked about last night, right? We got this big ruling over the SEC, right? First step, SEC lost. Now they can't use the same excuses they have used before, which is we can't have a spot Bitcoin ETF because there's too much fraud and manipulation. We need these fund managers to prove that there aren't these things, which is virtually impossible because even with, say, gold, or the futures market, or any commodities, or anything, right? There is going to always be fraud and manipulation, especially when it comes to something that's traded worldwide, right? Bitcoin is not just a U.S. thing. Just like gold is not a U.S. thing. Silver is not a U.S. thing, right? There's a lot of countries, a lot of people buying and trading. So these arguments were never valid to begin with. It was just an excuse for the SEC to say, let's give them something vague and broad because they can never disprove it, right? So we never have to approve a Bitcoin Spot ETF. Well, the court's like, no, you can't do that, SEC. Okay, Gary Gensler, you can't just make up the rules and just pretend like that's just the way it is, right? So the court shot back at the SEC saying you can't use these broad, generic, vague excuses for not approving a Bitcoin Spot ETF, right? So now, if they do want to deny, they have to give some new reasons, some really good reasons. And here's the thing. Because of this, whatever reasons they give, now these fund managers have ammunition. They could just go ahead and sue the SEC and say those are invalid, right? I mean, this sets the precedent for a lot of lawsuits against the SEC because they've been taking a lot of L's, okay? And they're probably going to take more L's, okay? So this is good. This is very, very good. You know why? Because the big events that I've been referring to, right? There's 7 other ETFs besides Grayscale, okay? And the first deadlines are coming. In fact, this week, there are a lot. Starting with, we got Bitwise, which is on the 1st, which is, Friday, right? And then the big one, of course, everyone that anticipates this guy, or this company, I should say, their ETF is going to get approved, which is BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust from BlackRock. So that deadline is on the 2nd. And then you got Van Eyck's, Wisdom Tree, Invesco, Wise, Valkyrie, Wise. So they're all set for this week. And then you got Valkyrie for next week. But basically, we have 7 different ETFs. First deadline is coming up this week. Can we get the very first Bitcoin Spot ETF approved by the end of this week? I would say there's a chance. There's always a chance, right? Just like if you buy a lottery ticket, there's always a chance. It may be small, but there's a chance. Or, they don't deny it. They just push it back, right? That's why there's like 4 deadlines. The next one is October, and then one in January, and then the final one in March. But the ARK one is a few months before, right? We did pass the first deadline and the second deadline. We're waiting for a third deadline, and the final deadline is in January, right? So I'm still thinking the SEC, because Gary is a sourpuss. He does not want to just cave, right? Unless Larry Fink is telling him, just do it. What's the point of waiting a few more months when you could do it now, right? maybe they're having that discussion, or many discussions over the past few months. But they can only push back so far until they can't anymore, and then they have to make a decision to deny or approve. But if they're going to deny, they have to come up with some really, really, really good excuses. Really good excuses. Can't be the same generic excuses that they gave before, right? So overall, it's just a matter of time. Matter of time when one, if not all, will be approved, and then we're going to see billions upon billions upon billions upon billions flowing into the space, and all these guys will need to buy billions upon billions upon billions of Bitcoin to be able to load up for the shares that they're going to be offering, right? So absolutely fantastic, but maybe we get a surprise. Maybe Gary just caves because of Larry Fink's like, you just lost, my man. You better just go ahead and release it. So maybe by the end of the week, on Friday, we're going to get the very first spot ETF. And if so, yesterday was just nothing. It's a blip, but the jump that we will see when the first spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved will be enormous, in the thousands, maybe even more than that. Seeing how suppressed Bitcoin has been, okay, how low volatility has been, how low volume has been, yeah, there's something brewing. And when we get that huge push, it's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be unlike anything we have seen before, possibly. Like, we're hitting like all-time low on volatility, on volume, on trading activity. Man, it could be wild. All right, so here's something else. Here's something else that shows Bollinger Bands. The squeeze is happening. The squeeze is so close. I mean, the band is so close, right? And if you look at how squeezed we are, guess what? The last 2 times was when Bitcoin went on a crazy parabolic run. right? Back in 2012 and back in 2016. We're at that same point. Bollinger Bands showing Bitcoin, because of this non-movement, is being squeezed. And you know what happens when you squeeze something? There's a eruption. And that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin, especially if we get that very first spot Bitcoin ETF approved, right? So, I mean, even the technicals, okay, even the technicals agree with this. Here's another technical chart, right? Look at this. All the previous times when Bitcoin took a little dip or was stagnant or was down or when volatility was low and when it was fuddish, right? That's when Bitcoin exploded upwards. And will we see the same thing happen? Yes. Yes, we will. So, all good stuff. All good stuff. And of course, lastly, fundamentals, balance on exchanges. Just look at that. We're back to 2017 levels. Okay. If this trend continues, if the reserves keep on going down and down and down and down and down, pretty soon there will not be a whole lot of Bitcoins for people to fetch, to buy, because, you know, as the balance on exchanges go down, guess what? All of our prices based on the order books from the exchanges, right? In case you didn't know, like, how do you come up with prices for Bitcoin and everything? It's all based on the order books. So, like CMC, for example, aggregates the price, the trading price on Coinbase and Binance and Kraken and Gemini and you know, compiles it together and gives you an average price. That's why when there's purchases OTC, basically from one party to another, it doesn't affect the price because it's not done on the open market. It doesn't hit the order books, right? But just imagine, you know, the balance on exchanges going down to a point where you got billions of people trying to buy it, and there's so little left on exchanges. Guess what's going to happen to the price? It's going to skyrocket, right? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Supply and demand. And we know that demand keeps on going up. It has not come down. In fact, it's stronger than ever. And the supply is diminishing, right? That's what we have the halving event. And we have a set total that there will ever be for Bitcoin. There's no other asset, no other investment out there that has a set total like Bitcoin. Nothing. No other commodity or precious metal or any investments, really. So, I mean, just do the math. Just do the math. It's really that simple. Other bullish things. We got Swiss SIBA Bank gets approval in Hong Kong for crypto services. So they're, I guess, the second one. But there's like 80 plus banks and brokerages and exchanges. I mean, financial companies that are looking to open up in Hong Kong and allow crypto trading, right? I mean, this is also huge. Maybe it doesn't get an immediate effect, but when we go into that parabolic run, when, you know, everyone is FOMOing, yeah, there's going to be FOMO in Hong Kong too. There's going to be a lot of FOMO in Asia. So this is all building up towards that. So very good. Very good. All right, some altcoin news. Anything big going on? Base. There's a lot of talk about Base. Coinbase's Base network. You can't really profit off of it, right? There's no coin. There's no token. Everything's run with ETH, which is a good thing. Which is actually why I think adoption is growing. But USDC is coming. No surprise. Coinbase bought. I don't know if it's a majority share or minority share of Circle. So obviously, USDC is going to be launched on Base. And then they already said 7 other networks. I don't know if they're like all the L2s or something. I don't know. I don't know what the 7 other ones are. But yeah, USDC is still expanding. Base seems like it's still doing good. So that's fantastic. Man, I have not heard anything about EOS for a long time. Their foundation, yeah, I guess they still exist. They secure regulatory approval in Japan. Will trade against the yen, so that's good, I guess. I don't know of anyone that talks about EOS anymore. I don't know what's going on there, but they kicked out Block One. That's all I know, and they were supposed to rename themselves to Antelope or something, some horrible name. So I guess they decided against it. Outside of those two things, I don't know what's going on with EOS. And then finally, Polygon introduces Chain Development Kit 4.0, their ZK EVM, and also, I guess, for other ZK-powered networks on Ethereum. So Polygon continues to push forward. I'm looking forward to their Polygon 2.0. But yeah, it seems like a lot of chains are getting involved with ZK. Even like Phantom, for example, is looking to become an L2. Thinking about becoming L2 using ZK for Ethereum. So there's a lot of chains taking advantage of ZK technology, which is good. Very good. All right. Overall today, slightly green. People digesting this jobs report. For crypto, everything is still up in 24 hours. So that's good. 1.1 trillion. A few days ago, just a day ago, it's like 1.07. So obviously this is good. We have come down a little bit from our peak of yesterday. Let's see if we can get a little bit more boost today and the remainder of this week, especially if we get a spot Bitcoin ETF approved. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see. Let's see if I missed anything. Scrolling down. Let's see. Get your dry powder ready. That's always good advice. Get it ready. Dry powder meaning cash. Okay, cash on the side. Pending home sales in 27 minutes. Yeah, this week is full of economic data. I'm curious to see the GDP report, see how, oh, it's out, 2.1% down from expected. Well, that's not good. Let's see, GDP. I just spelled GDP horribly wrong. GDP. Came out 7 minutes ago. Revised down to a 2.1% annual rate. Okay, so it's still economy expanded 2.4 last quarter, now to 2.1. So it's down a little bit, 0.3% down from last quarter, but overall it's still net positive. So according to Powell, this is a good thing, right? There's still some growth, not negative growth, right? Not like China, which is in negative growth, which is really bad. So, okay, I guess we'll take it. Kind of like the jobs report. It's down slightly, but still positive, right? That's what we want and kind of what we expect. I mean, with rates so high, you know that there will be slowness, right? Businesses can't borrow as much, which means they can't hire as much. Right, and of course, consumers are not buying as much. So I mean, it makes sense that we're gonna get some slowness, but not a catastrophe, right? Let's see. Robert says, I give BlackRock ETF 50% approval this Friday. Gary would help his sponsors at BlackRock to spike Grayscale and be done with it. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about just to spite Grayscale, he may approve BlackRock. That's, I don't know, 50% approval. That's pretty large. I hope that's true. I hope it really comes down to like last minute. They're like, should we just approve? Should we just get it over with? Right? Yeah, maybe. And for people that are saying, I don't trust BlackRock, no one does. I'm not saying BlackRock dominating the Bitcoin space is a good thing, right? It's jump starting things. It got all these people excited, all these fun companies, right? Obviously jumping in. It's going to push a lot of pressure on Gary, right? So these are short-term benefits. Long-term, no one wants to see BlackRock dominate. No one wants to see BlackRock, control the market. BlackRock controls a lot. They control a lot of mining companies. They control. They have a lot of shares into. They own a lot of shares from MicroStrategy too. So they've already entrenched themselves, but they're about to do a lot more. Destroyer, Arweave. Will you be going to XRP party, New York City, September 29th? No. I'll be in Florida at Cypherpunk. I didn't even know XRP was going to have a party there. But I don't know. I'm not very close with any of the Ripple guys. I wouldn't mind being close, but I don't know too many people. Could a spot Bitcoin ETF recouple BTC to the NASDAQ? I don't know if it will, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Sometimes it's good not to be coupled from NASDAQ because NASDAQ and S&P has been going up, roaring up, and they could take a breather and come down again, right? Bitcoin has just been really low and stagnant. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing, but will it couple it closer to NASDAQ because a lot of traders will be buying it? Could. Gary and Larry are buddies. They play for the same team, don't trust. I agree with you. Red Rubles, I appreciate that. You will get there. I got the VIP for Cypher. Awesome. Do you think Polkadot will get back to its high? Yeah, I think so. I think most will go back to their previous high, at least. Maybe they won't go up as much from that point on as their peers, but I think Polkadot is still, there's still a lot of supporters of Polkadot, for obviously. Gavin Wood didn't leave. He's just no longer CEO. He just wants to be like the innovation or technology officer, right? A lot of guys who start projects, they're kind of like that. They're like builders or coders or engineers, and they don't want the CEO title. So that makes a lot of sense. Do you think Litecoin goes to all-time high? Yeah, but very slowly indeed. So there in 2021, they didn't. I don't think they even came close to their 2018 high. Maybe they surpassed it, but I don't think they did. So I don't know. They'll get back up there just like everything else. but I don't know if they're going to do better than anything else out there. Their peer, obviously, is Bitcoin, but it really is not. It's like there's no good reason to be holding Litecoin. You should just hold Bitcoin. It's that simple. No, you know what? That's the thing about Litecoin. I don't think it hit all-time high in 2021. I think the 2018 is still higher. Oh no, it did. No, yeah, they did a little bit. 356 versus 318. So they barely broke through their 2017 high, right? That's not very good, right? I mean, just take Bitcoin for example. 2017 high was below 20,000. 2021 high was 69,000, right? So that's triple. But you look at Litecoin, did it triple in 2021? It should have hit like 900 or $1,000, but it didn't. It barely broke. So this time around, can it break through 2021 high in 2025? Yeah, but maybe it barely breaks through and just hits 400 instead. So again, this is why it's not a good idea to hold Litecoin over Bitcoin because it can't even outperform Bitcoin. So what's the point? People still talking about Ben. Yeah, Ben got fired from Hit Network, right? It's kind of weird that that they're still, the network is still, I mean, the channel is still called BitBoy Crypto, right? But I'm sure they'll rename it or something. But I don't know what's going on right now. I know what has happened. I just don't know what's going to happen for BitBoy himself or Ben. Hit Network, BitBoy Crypto, and all the other channels. I think they'll continue. They have hosts. They have so many hosts over there, so they will continue to produce content. Whether or not people will continue to watch them without Ben, that's a different story. So I don't know. I wish them all of the best. DXY is dumping. If that's the case, that's good. We want to see DXY dump. That's very good. But barely. We're still at 103. We need to see a dump below 100. We were at below 100, like 99 something, and then we unfortunately shot up. Like right here, you could see 99.7-ish. This was back in July. We need to see DXY climb back on. I mean, the reason why it went up is because all these other currencies started going down. That's why. Do you think Solana will surpass or hit it? Yeah, Solana will. Surprisingly, Solana is incredibly strong. Even after FTX FUD, even after their endless network outages, they're surprisingly strong. And they're making moves. So yeah, I think they will. I think they will. No, I'll never get fired from here. I would probably voluntarily leave once I retire, maybe after 2025. But no, I don't have to get. I don't have to worry about getting booted from my own company because I am my own boss. I don't have partners or anything. I still believe in Pepe. I don't know. I'd be very careful about that. What's been happening recently with the insider selling and the team saying that, there's disagreements among the founders and things being moved without them, all this stuff. I don't know. It leaves a bad taste, right? So yeah, I'd be very careful about Pepe. DJ Morales, hi from Portugal. Hello, never been to Portugal. Do you see the NFT market recovering? Yeah, definitely. NFT market, shot up in 2021, really, right? Of course, it's going to get weak, just like anything else, but it's going to come back. Once the money is in the market, people just throw money left and right everywhere. So will it recover? Yes, it definitely will. Futsal, everyone should go to Cypherpunk. I mean, at first I thought this would be a larger event, but now it turns out it's still going to be a pretty small, intimate event. But still, there will be a lot of projects and speakers there, and I'll be there. The timing of it sucks because a lot of big projects, most projects I've talked to, are going to Singapore, which I still regret not going to. They're all going to Singapore in the next 2 weeks, right? But this is 2 weeks after that. So hopefully some of those projects can still come back stateside and attend Cypherpunk. But yeah, if you used my link in the description, you'll get a massive discount. And NFT holders can go for free. If you guys are in the area, love to see you guys there. But this is all leading up to WAG 2024, which is coming in July of next year. Planning for that. Hopefully that will be a huge, huge conference. I actually want to get the Nissan Stadium, but they don't have a dome, so I don't want to prepare for something huge and then and get rained out, right? So that sucks. I wanted to actually be in Nissan Stadium, and it's actually, the cost isn't as high as people think. But yeah, I don't want to plan something for a year and have it do, have it rain and then spoil everything. Next year, though, I'm going to go to Token 2049. I saw a list of all the side events and network events that's happening there. It's like 300 plus. Everyone's there. Like, man, if someone has a private jet, wants to fly me out there, I will take that offer. I will go. I'm waiting for a project, a really wealthy, rich project that their CEO or whatever is taking a private jet to Singapore, looking to piggyback off of that. So if anyone knows of anyone, let me know or refer them to me. George, will 100,000 in top alts get you 100,000 a bull run? If you tell someone that's not in crypto, they'll tell you that's baloney, right? Like, that can't be. That's a 10x. That's way too much. The funny thing is, people that are in crypto that have lived through the past 2 cycles will tell you that's entirely possible and very likely. And I will say, yes, I actually do think that is a real possibility. These top alts, let's just say the top 30 or top 40, right? For them to do a 10x, very easy. You know why? Because most of them need to do a 10x just to get back to their previous high. So think about it. Just to get back to the previous high and then go above it. That's more than 10x. Yes. Steve Richards, like, my situation is different. Like, I've always kept it close to the chest. Like, I don't have a large team. I try to be very conservative. Try to be very efficient with how I do things with operations and so forth, right? And I've done that for so many years, but other creators have not. There's a lot of other creators that have like way bigger than teams than me, even though they get no views and they're just burning cash. And someone like Ben, I know he like started BitBoy Crypto with a couple of good friends. That's why I think there's like a partnership there. Obviously, they've grown much bigger over the years, but he has like a team of like 40 people. It's a crazy number. So of course they need to be more corporate, right? I mean, that's a good sized company. So obviously, that's why he had partners, right? But for me, I still have a small team. I still crank out what I can, right? Still working on other things. So that's the difference. Buy a jet. I don't think I'll ever buy a jet. Unless I really become a billionaire someday, then I can afford to maintain a jet and keep it stored in some warehouse for hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. No, I don't think I'll ever buy a private jet. I could fly on private jets in the future, but buying one, the maintenance cost and hiring captains and all the, yeah, that's just so much wasted money. I try to stay away from flying in the air. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone likes flying. It's always a scary thought. If you guys watch The Boys, the show The Boys on Amazon, I always think about that. The one part where Homelander was outside this guy's private jet. You guys know what I'm talking about. Um, Thoughts on Sheeb? We'll see how Sheebarium is. Once it gets kick-started again, let's see if it can hold the volume. If it gets like hundreds of dApps on there, it's going to do very well. $21 million Bitcoins is not enough for 8 billion people. Well, that's why you could divide Bitcoin. You could divide it up to, what, 8 decimal points? With the Lightning Network, you could go even smaller. So there's still time to accumulate. There's still time, for sure. But once Bitcoin gets to 600,000, 700, $1 million each, even if you divide it up, it's still going to be very costly. I'm not gonna park my private jet. There's houses near me where there's like a small runway and you can have a small little, plane. So you see those guys fly their planes often. That's pretty cool. BBX, thank you. And I appreciate that. And congratulations. You need a helicopter more than a plane? Well, man, I mean, just look at what happened with Kobe. So I know that's like 1 in a million, but still, um, that's just a scary thought. Kobe died way too young. He's like close to my age, maybe just a few years older. But I still watch all his highlights all the time on my phone, and it's just like it's shocking that he's already gone. Wow. Shimron says, you present it in a way that's understandable. My mom watches your night stream and now owns a whole Bitcoin. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yesterday, I was just talking to my new neighbors, and they had no clue about Bitcoin as well. This nice guy and his 2 teenage sons, right, started talking a little bit about it, and they were really fascinated. So I plan to have more conversations with them, right? As long as you're talking Bitcoin and crypto to open-minded people, it goes very well. It blows their mind, it makes them curious, and they seek more knowledge, right? But if you're talking to people that they're not open-minded, that's always like, living in FUD, then they're just like, you can't convince them no matter what, and you're wasting your breath, right? But yeah, more and more people are open-minded especially about money, especially after coming off COVID and hearing about inflation and all this stuff, right? There's more open-minded people about investments and money overall, I think. Tim, I've been thinking about that. Let's say someone invented a teleport device, and you could teleport across the world in literally seconds, and it costs you like $100,000. Man, even if you charge $100,000, there will be so many billionaires that use it all the time. They like, no one likes to fly in a private jet even for 16, 17, 20 hours, right? If you could teleport anywhere around the world instantly for $100,000, I think rich billionaires or centimillionaires will be using it all the time. That's crazy to think about, but hopefully it won't cost that much. All right. Well, to conclude, overall, you know what? Today's still a pretty good day. We got some major decisions from the SEC, I guess, later this week. If we get one ETF approval, watch out. It's gonna be huge. Huge. All right. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight. Give you guys more good content. More bullishness. Okay. Have a good one. I'll see you guys tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.